before you get it, baby.
Show me your soul.
And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight. Ooh,
Show me your soul.
baby, I'll show you mine.
Show me your soul.
Can't you see it's way past time?
How explicit do I have to be?
I mean, I spell it out before you get it, baby.
Show me your soul.
And honey, I'll show you mine.
All right, now can y'all hear me? There, that's probably better. I got these new headphones. Check them out. What are they? Bose. Yes, I had already asked for a new pair of, turn this up a little more. I had asked for a new pair of headphones, some Beats for next Christmas, because I forgot to put them on my list. And my hubby wubby wubby frubby wubby, remember Zoom? I know I'm all over the place. Zoom, that show when I was a kid, come on, Zuma, and they had that language, hubby frubby, that was what I was speaking. Anyway, I got these for Valentine's Day. Yes. Happy Valentine's Day, one day after, to all of you. I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend. You guys throw in the comments. I've got a lot of new stuff going on. So is the sound okay? Just let me know. Put some hearts or put a comment in. And oh my goodness. This morning when I woke up, there was about 3 inches of snow, which we weren't supposed to get until mid-afternoon. Today we're going to get 7 to 10 inches. And here in Chicago, it is so cold. But I love going out there and shoveling. I was speed shoveling so I could get, because I had to do that before I could leave to go to the health club this morning. And I hate rolling over the snow and then it leaves those marks. You know what I mean? I'm out there scraping. It's just an OCD thing with me. I have ADHD, so you know what I'm saying. I'm all over the place. And that's our topic today, actually, here on Bathrobe Moments. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Monday, the 15th of February. Again, happy Valentine's. I want to know what you guys got. What did you get and what did you give? And, for all of you that are with someone or those who are not taken yet or still in the market, happy Valentine's Day. I love you all from the bottom of my toes to the top of my nose. So that's the bell of purpose. When you hear it here, what are you saying about the sound? Sounds great. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sherry McGowan. And I know you tell me. She don't hold you up, right? Love you guys. That's the bell of purpose. It means that when you hear it ring, something great is going on, something that you put in the comments. I believe you need to go back and take a look at it out of the mouth of our guest or even me once in a blue moon. So that's what the bell of purpose is. You know what? I found out last night I was juicing. It was the last thing I did before I went to bed because I just had so much stuff to do. Send me prayers, love and light if you can, you guys. I submitted a huge proposal for an opportunity that I would just love to get my hands on. And I was so nervous about submitting this proposal. I had to run it past my coach, my business coach, Dr. Robert Garcia, because, man, I am still dealing with that thing, that scarcity mindset, and it just makes me woo. So anyway, I got it done. I submitted it. So let's pray about that, can we please? And if you have a joy or a concern that you'd like to share with us here today on Bathrobe Moments, you know that our theme this year, season 5, is Show Me Your Soul. And I promise you, I'll show you mine. So that's what we do. We bear it all. We're transparent. We're authentic. And we are here to help each other through everything that we have grown through and to help each other grow through everything that we're dealing with. Can I get an amen, right? I can't think of many things that you really can accomplish in life all by yourself except loneliness, right? Again, Can I get an amen? Help me welcome to the show, would you please? My sidekick, you know who she is, my best girl, my gal pal, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. And we are done with that Starbucks coffee. I was up for 19 straight hours. Was it 19? Yeah, I drank some at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The first day I opened that Starbucks bag I got for Christmas, and I didn't go sleep till like 6 the next morning. Right? So this is just some regular stuff. I think it's Dunkin' Donuts breakfast plan. But anyway, top of the morning to you. What's in your cup? Oh, and did you know, I don't know where I've been, apparently under a rock, because I did not know. I was listening to, when I was juicing, Brian was in one of his classrooms or doing something for work, but the television was on in the family room. And I heard a report about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. I didn't know they moved to California and gave up their royal titles and all that. Wow, I got to go in and look into that today. Wow, I wonder what that's all about. He must really love that girl, right? And they're expecting their second baby. That's what it was all about. But man, I tell you what, I have stayed away from the news. I don't know about you. Brian is the one, my husband, he watches the news for 10 minutes at 10 o'clock at night and then debriefs me the next morning, because with my ADHD and everything, I overload is just, oof, you know what I'm saying? So I have stayed out of the circle of news, except for NPR and stuff like that. BBC I'll listen to, but for the most part, the gossipy stuff, I stay away from it. So how do you handle it? Do you have a process? I'd like to know. Do you want to see what I gave Brian? Well, I gave him a gift card because he loves to buy books. My husband reads probably, and this is no exaggeration, I'd say 8 to 10 books a month. And I keep fishing these. I got some more here. There's another one over here. I keep fishing these out of the trash cans because he uses them. And if they barely get weak, you know, I mean, if they're not vibrant yellow, he throws them away. And it was Ethel, our cat, who put me up on this this thing by taking them out and bringing them to me. And then now she leads me to them and I get them out. But I keep them because he highlights so much in these books. And I'm an audiobook person. You know, I try to sit and read, but again, my ADHD, I'll start reading. Once upon a, what was that? Time, there was a city in the middle. Hey, I wonder if I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. Did I tell you guys how a couple weeks ago, it was like 3:30 in the morning and I just rolled over in bed and said, hey, honey, did you know that when Cicely Tyson played the role of Sounder in 1972, that I was just 10 years old? And he was like, honey, you either need to go to sleep or just get up and go somewhere. ADHD. I didn't know it worked while I was sleeping. We're going to talk about that today. My guest today is ANDREA M. MILIOTI. Now, she's been here before, and she's new to all this, so you guys be gentle, be gentle. But she was telling, I mean, what I love about her and why she's here today is because she's an ADHD coach, and I believe she's certified in that. I didn't know that was a thing. I mean, I knew there was a clip your toenail coach. I knew there was how to apply false eyelashes coach, on and on, but I had no idea that there was an ADHD coach out there, and we have one here with us today. So if you have any questions about ADHD or you have some story involving you or someone, you know, let's talk about this so that we can understand it better. Now I'm going to show you guys real quick what I gave Brian. I gave him a gift card so he could get some books. We gave each other cards, and I always give him flowers. I gave him 3 dozen roses. There's one of them in our kitchen window. Aww, aren't they pretty? And those ones to the left back there are dried. That's from I usually give him 1 or 2 bouquets a week, just because, not just for holidays, but just because I love him. And here are those 2 dozen. Aren't those right? I feel like I ought to send this into Pinterest. It is so beautiful. And when you come downstairs, this is a view from an aerial view, if you will. Nah, hey, this thing isn't working like it's supposed to. But anyway, that's what I did. That's what we exchanged. And I am as if my head needed to be any bigger, but I love them. I feel like I'm in the radio station. And I just want to say because, you know, I came from radio. I was in radio for years, and I would purposely leave my voice down here. You know, welcome to the Quiet Storm. I'm Lauren Michaels. And tonight, sit back, we're going to get into a little great music. Are you ready for that? Remember? See? Okay. Well, anyway, who's ready to talk to Andrea? I am. Let me just give you a little, because I asked for a brief bio. Clearly, she does not know the meaning of the word brief. I'm just saying that thing is about 22 pages long, but I'm going to give you the highlights. Andrea is a lifelong resident of New York, and she has an associate's degree in business administration and accounting. Accounting. She has worked in the financial services industry for 18 years with the Bank of New York. And then there was a corporate takeover. She separated from her husband after 16 years of marriage. And then she's now found her new version of herself. She's a single mom, no job, not knowing where to turn next. Andrea was determined to give her kids the life they deserved. She has always worked no less than 3 jobs just to make ends meet. Sound familiar, people? Amen to that. Now, and then she sold her house in 2013, on and on and on. But then she starts telling us about the ADHD, and I believe she suffers from, I don't want to say suffer because I don't suffer with anything. Everything I have is a blessing. It is a blessing, but not until I look for it. What you look for is what you're going to find. Seek, and you will find. But anyway, there's the little bit about her. I'm going to let her bring you up to par when she gets in here. So put your hearts on the screen. You know how we do it. It's Monday, y'all. Put your hearts on the screen. Put some light and love into the air. And welcome, Andrea M. MILIOTI. Oh, it doesn't work when I have a picture. I know what you're doing over there. Okay, let me pull you back. Hi.
I was like,
I know. I didn't know that was going. Welcome to the show. Good morning to you. Now, just let me tell everybody, Andrea is at her daughter's house, and she's going to talk about her because that's one of the main resources and one of the reasons that she's so passionate about ADHD, and she'll get into that with you. But she's at her daughter's house, so the internet's a little different than what she's used to. We've had a little bit of in and out, but we're going to make it work. You know, we claim that. In the name of Jesus, we claim it. We're going to get there. And I just want to say hello to all of you. Who was that? Did y'all hear that? Did you hear something go? Was that you, Andrea? Say something.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, now you came in. You're okay. See, that's the kind of stuff we were talking about. You guys get ready for that. I want to say hello to Subin, Suresh, Maurice Dorsey. Dr. Dorsey was my guest on Friday. Welcome back. So glad to have you here. You guys get over to mauricewdorsey.com and take a look at what he's doing. Some great books, just a plethora of information, and a darn good guy to know. Beatrice Pena, good morning to you. Robert Brooker, top of the world to you. And Lori Whitney. Virginia Hodges. Hey, I owe you a call, Virginia Rose. Photographer to the stars, going to do a photo shoot with me in the next couple months. I owe you a call. I promise I'm going to do it. Miss your face. Love you. Mwah. Okay. So, and to the rest of you, because I want to get started with our guests, good morning and thank you so much for joining us here. Thank you for coming and sharing your souls. Let's get into this. Andrea, say hello to everybody. Tell them where you're at in the world. And then let's get into this ADHD coaching thing and why is it so important to you?
Sure. Thanks, Lauren. Yeah, my name is Andrea MILIOTI, and I am in New York. I'm in Carmel, New York, actually, which is like about an hour and a half below Albany. And yeah, I'm a mom myself. I have 2 kids, 2 adult kids. My daughter is 24, and my son is 20. My son was diagnosed with ADHD at age 7. My daughter has anxiety, really bad anxiety, and she's went through a period of depression also. And I guess my wanting to be a coach and my passion in it is, well, one, when my son was diagnosed, I was actually I met an ADHD parent coach. Not that I was looking for one, but I just happened to be out with friends and somebody were in conversation. Next thing I know, she told me she coaches parents who are raising kids with ADHD, and she coached me, and she helped me a lot. And she really was a godsend. She made me just see that belief of thinking that it was my fault, and getting all that negativeness from people talking about that. You know, you're a bad parent. but none of it's true. And she really helped me. So, I really like that. And when I was well in my adult years, I discovered I have ADHD, and
Wait,
that
wait. What do you mean you discovered? You were like cleaning out your sock drawer or something, and you go, "Oh, look at this, some ADHD in here. I didn't know I had this." How did you discover?
I wish it
How
was,
did you?
I
I
wish
mean,
it was
well,
something like that. I wish it was
wait.
something like that.
Well, wait. Were you diagnosed, or did someone say, "Girl, you all over the place"? I think you got ADHD. That's how I found out. Somebody just told me.
Because I just told you,
He's
okay.
upstairs. Well,
I
it pays to marry a psychologist. I'm telling you,
No,
I know all
that's
kinds
the
of
thing.
stuff about myself I never knew.
That's a benefit. Yes, it is.
Well, let me tell you a little secret. I always knew if I were to ever get married, it would either need to be a psychologist, psychiatrist, or a plastic surgeon, because I knew at some point I was going to need all of them. So 1 out of 3, really 2 out of 3, because he's really cold. So anyway, go on with your story. So let's talk about your family. Okay, so you had this. Can we go back? Is it okay to talk about what led up to the separation with your husband? Now, it would seem, did he suffer from any of these things that the rest of you have? Or was
No, not really.
he the normal one?
Yeah, well, I must have put it, but I'm not gonna go there. But I mean, he's like, I guess, no, it's probably all from me. Because I was the one, and I didn't know what I was suffering from then when my kids were little, and I
Oh,
had it all my life and not realizing.
okay, tell everybody, give us a little example of what the ADHD situation feels like for you. What does it look like? How do you know when you're inside of an ADHD moment?
Like when you're in a brain fog and you're just all like you know, if I'm intense, like there's something about ADHD, everybody calls it attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Okay, but it's that highlight, they call it an attention issue and that you can't focus, which really is not true, because there's something that's called hyperfocus, and people with ADHD do that very well.
Hyper what?
And hyperfocus. It
Okay.
means basically we can focus, but on if it's interesting to us. In something and we're interested, whereas we can't focus if it's not interesting, like those things that we have to do, like maybe paying bills as an example for an adult. Maybe they don't like that, and you push it off and you push it off, and you and that procrastination, but you like, I have to do this, and it's just so hard to stay on that, focusing on it, doing
stay
it.
focused.
Yeah, because you don't enjoy it to begin with, and that's what parents always think. It's like it's always they're just lazy. They don't. It's not. If it's not, they'll. My son had a hard time struggling with his homework, but when it came to video games, he was hyper focused.
I just got to throw this in here, you guys. If you see me making a whole bunch of weird faces, more weird than usual, because I do that all the time. And Andrea, I'm probably going to put this on the screen multiple times this hour. Girl. Because I'm just saying, it's like, I don't, that cutting in and out stuff. I hate it because it's like, I know it's in there to like mess up the continuity of the message, but we're not going to let that work. But anyway, so if I have to butt in, it's only because I have to repeat what we may not have heard clearly from your end. So I hope you understand that. And I'm just, when you see this pop up on the screen, girl, it means I need to stop you. So okay. So go ahead, girl.
All right, you got it. You got it.
So let me ask you this. So let's go back, and you're happily married. You have 2 children. Let's say they're toddlers. Okay. I don't know what's the age difference between the 2, but
they're 4 years apart.
4 years apart. So let's say all 4 of you are there: husband, wife, dad, mom, and the 2 kids. Okay. So was it always something with one of the kids? And did you think it was the kids, but then you didn't know you suffered from it as well?
Exactly. My daughter, not so much. I mean, my daughter didn't. I mean, she was a different. I mean, she was 18 months and like speaking full sentences, and she was very smart. And she was a very calm kid. But when I had my son, I mean, he was once he started, like he was walking at 10 months, and that was it. And he was all over the place, nonstop.
Mm.
And you think everybody's like, you think typical kid, but it's like you don't. Yeah, he was a typical kid, a boy, active, but it got to the point as he was getting bigger, little by little. Like when he approached school, and when he started school, and when he started kindergarten, it was the first year of he had kindergarten, and kindergarten was all day at that time, and it was like I always seen like even like one of his teachers is saying like it's so funny like Donnie's like so full of energy. He's a great kid, but he just doesn't sit still. But
Hmm.
they didn't say anything as to get him evaluated for anything because they thought like at 5 you should wait till that second grade. Nowadays it's different. They're evaluating kids like 4, 3,
Yeah.
4 actually because it's different. But when he was, they weren't. They were looking at it that second grade was usually about the time if they're like that, and that's what happened when he was in second grade. His
Okay.
teacher reached out to me and told
See it? What's on screen?
I got
Girl.
mhm.
Stop you. Okay. So you're saying at second grade, um, they didn't know how to diagnose it, and that's exactly right. Because I remember I would always uh either how they do the parent teacher conferences and they talk about, oh, he's so hyper. We had, he finishes his work, but then he disturbs other kids. I got put in the hall a lot so that because I'd be finished and I'd be turning around, and I'd love to mess with people and make funny faces and do anything to crack, but I just had a lot of energy. And my mom's stock answer, especially out in public, when people would be looking like, what is wrong with you? How much sugar did you give him, girl? Uh, she would say, oh, he needs a nap. And that's exactly what she would do. That would be her go-to. I think you need to calm down. Why don't you just go in there and lay down? That's the last thing I wanted to do. I went in there, all right, shut the door, but I'm flipping and jumping on the bed and doing everything I could. But it is a real thing. And so let me ask you about this coaching thing. Now, did you go somewhere and find, because nowadays, like I said, you can say, oh, I'm a coach on how to clean out your earwax. And somebody's gonna say, okay, teach me. So did you go, and I think you said, doesn't it say in your bio that you're certified?
Yes, I just actually got certified recently. It was an online school.
Okay, so is it
Actually,
well, wait a minute. How do you, so you still, because ADHD isn't something you get cured of. It can be
no,
maintained and balanced with,
manage. You have to manage exactly.
so was it difficult for you to get certified in this thing? What about when you were going through the course and your own ADHD reared its ugly head? Did you see stuff in there? Were there things that you stumbled across that maybe triggered you? Or how did it work? And why is it so important to you to help other people understand ADHD? Because you can't cure them. So what do they come to you looking for?
Because okay, when I first thought that might be me, that was through my research and through my own research, even learning deeper to know more about it. Um, and then when I was taking classes, and the more and more I would read, and I would just hear about different things like, oh, like not so much hyper. I'm not like a little bit, but I'm more the inattentive. I'll probably combine because the impulsivity is there, so probably more like combined type. And when I started seeing different things, I said to myself, you know what? That seems like me. Like I feel like constant, like literally, like I can be focusing, and then in like just a couple of minutes, I'm like, if I get distracted by something, I can't get myself back where I was, and it's like that's a classic symptom. And then there's just other things And then I said to myself, you know what? I went online and I've actually found a test, and that it answers questions, and it was like an assessment, and I did that. A friend of mine had mentioned it to me, and I said, oh, that's interesting. So I did that, and then it gives you your score based on what you were, and it shows that what you were. Like I came up in a combined type
Yeah.
of ADHD. So I printed it out, and I made an appointment with a psychiatrist.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask next. You
Yeah,
didn't just self-diagnose and run with it, did you?
No.
You went in
Yeah, no, I
actually.
did a thing, but I took it to a psychiatrist.
Now, right there. Now, why did you choose to go to a psychiatrist and maybe not just your own doctor or a psychologist? Talk about that decision.
You know, that's a good question, but I guess because basically I just thought that they're going to know more, because a lot of medical doctors, I mean, I think they're starting to learn more now, but they don't know that much about ADHD.
No.
They don't know much about like what the brain, they can just like they don't, they don't know, like, they'll like think like, oh, okay, but
girl,
the stigma, that's where the stigma.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
your cue. That's your cue, girl.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying if I was an ADHD, I am, but a person comes and they got real over the top ADHD, and the two of you are in there together. I'm like, that's like a cat fight, like throwing two cats in a bag together. It could be if they catch you on a. So anyway, we're gonna get into that part on the second half. That's a go, because that's a go, and I'm like, Lord, I'd like to be a fly on the wall in some of those sessions. But I do want to say the reason I asked that question about the psychiatrist versus any other type of assessor was because when I was suffering from depression early in, just walking down the first few steps into that basement known as addiction, I remember I knew something was off and it was scary. And I went to a psychiatrist as well. And I'm not kidding you. I was in there. What was that? Uh-oh. Okay. I ain't saying nothing about it. So I went in. He said, what's going on? I sat down, started telling him. And the whole time I was talking, I'm not even 3 minutes into it. He's writing. And it wasn't on a pad. I could tell it was a prescription pad. And I was like, what are you doing? He says, oh, I'm writing something out for you to take with you today. And I'm like, he ain't even heard what I got to say yet. How does he know what to prescribe when I haven't even I ain't even got to the good stuff yet? Well, anyway, I said, well, what is it? And he said, it's a prescription for lithium. And I said, well, how long will I have to take it? He said, probably for the rest of your life. That's all I heard. I was, bye, Felicia. I was out the door to the left, because I was like, I am not going to just take something for the rest of my life. You ain't even heard me out. So I just wrote my check for the cost of the appointment, left, and went on my way. But so a lot, because then, psychiatrists are known for just nothing against that industry, but a lot of them, it's all about taking some kind of a pill, some type of prescription. So what did they give you for your ADHD, and how long did it take them to properly diagnose you? Did you only get one opinion? Did you go to two people? How'd you do that?
I went to one woman. She was really good, and that's what she specialized into, was working with adults and even kids with ADHD. And they did actually. I said, you know what? I have to get myself. And I was really against starting medicine, but they put me on Adderall. But it just literally, like, it worked. I was focused, but I was just keep going. It like wired me to the point that I couldn't even sleep. And then she's like, oh, you can take to help to sleep. And I'm like, no, I don't want to keep taking medicines. This is too much. It's like, it's not good. It was so much, and there was a low dosage. And it's just that, and also Adderall tends to be addictive, so I didn't want to get on something that was a big addiction. But she's like, all right, let's try something. So I tried Vyvanse, which is fine because I had no.
Girl.
It worked on me fine. It really did. I take it out in the morning, and it would just. I couldn't believe how focused I was, and just like.
So
Yeah,
wait.
it was
Okay.
major.
So what does that mean? That you wake up and instead of running all around the house, you can sit and calmly have a cup of coffee, or does it mean you can start a task and finish it?
Yeah, exactly. You can start the task, you can finish it well, you can plan, you can manage yourself better.
Yeah.
You don't forget because I am one. My biggest thing too, and appointments. I literally can set an appointment. Literally, in like that time comes, I could forget. Like all of a sudden, like if I don't set reminders, I could forget that. Like immediately, in 5 minutes, I made that appointment. That's why I have a reminder on my phone. I have reminders, sticky notes, because I mean, to the point of I had something at my house that my daughter needed, like, and she's like, "Mom, I forgot what it was." I said, "Don't worry, I'll bring it." Well, I went. I said, "Let me go right now." It was upstairs and get it, so I put it by my pocketbook so I don't forget. Would you know
Pocketbook.
something distracted me,
That's a grandmama.
and I walked out without it.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Classic me. That's classic me.
So let me ask you if this is classic you, because we're here, we're showing our souls, and that's what we're here for. So I noticed that you like to start a thought. You take 5 steps in, then you kind of come back 3, then you go 2 or 5 more, then you come back 2, and then you go. Is that part of your ADHD?
Mm-hmm.
So you are aware of that?
Yes, just not to believe it or not too long ago. I probably began to become aware of that within the past maybe couple of months.
Now, how did you become aware of that?
Psychiatrist.
See,
She told
and
me
how much did you pay her for that hour? You see, you could have came here and got it for free.
I know, exactly.
Mm-hmm,
Exactly.
I'll give you my Cash App after the show.
All right, no problem.
I'm kidding. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of your comments out there and get a little deeper into how Andrea feels that she helps her clients with the entire thing of ADHD. We'll be back in just a couple minutes, you guys. Don't go anywhere. Get a drink, use the bathroom, but whatever you do, come on back. We'll be right back. Oh, top of the morning to you. Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris. We're halfway through today's wonderful episode with my guest, ANDREA M. MILIOTI, and we're talking about all things ADHD. And ANDREA is a coach for people with questions or issues with ADHD. Now, before we get back to our guest, I want to thank my sponsors for today. First one is livetraders.com. If you are interested in learning how to get into the stock market, do all that sort of thing, a lot of people are, and even know on Clubhouse, a lot of people are talking about going in there and listening to different stock rooms and actually making money. But get over to livetraders.com and check out what they have to offer. And also my favorite intention pen. Intention pen, I got all my coaching clients getting them. I have one. Mine is inscribed with "Through me, not from me." And these pens are all handmade. It's father and son team from a long line of woodworkers and craftsmen. And they actually pour intention into the pen before they send it to you. Get over to intentionpen.com and check it out. I'm telling you, I'm going to say it again because it's an affirmation. Thank you, Jesus. I mean it. I am going to sign my NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, or whatever network says we want you contract with this very pen. And I'm going to sign it with the original ink cartridge. So I'm not putting it up, like remember grandmama's good stuff she only pull out on the holidays. No, I'm using this every day so that it pushes me closer. I am using intention to set intentions. Get over and check it out today. ANDREA MILIOTI is with us today. ANDREA, before we went to the break, we were talking about your family and you dealing with ADHD. Let me ask you this. When you wake up every day, do you automatically take some kind of a prescription for ADHD? Or I know in my case, I have some anxiety pills that gave me. I've had them for about 2 years and I still have the original prescription. I forget to take them because they say as you need it. How do you know? Do you just take it automatically or do you pick it up when you feel I need something to calm me down?
I'm getting better now. The ADHD medicine, you take it like daily. You have to take it like every day, like usually in the morning. And I'm getting better now at remembering. It was very hard because I would literally forget. I mean, I would just, part of ADHD, literally forget to take my medicine. I'm like, classic. Even when my son was on, now I know, like when my son was first, I put him on when he was 7. And just for school, like I didn't put it on the weekend. I chose not to. The doctor told me that's fine. And that's where I'll deal with his issues. I just want him focusing in school. So right. I took it. But there was times that I would forget. And I didn't know that I was the same way at that time, right? But it was the same thing. It's like to remember. I mean, I'm getting better at like putting notes and just setting a system for myself to make me. Occasionally, I still do. I mean, I have had a day where I forgot, and honestly, when I forget, I see like I'm more all over. Like I can't get into anything.
Well, when when I take mine before COVID, when I was taking the pills, not just because of, I feel like I need one, because I knew I was going into something. It would be when I was going to speak from the stages. And why? Excuse me. It was because my thing was I'd know where I was going. I know my content. I know my material, left and right and left, up and down and up, side to side, side to side. But it didn't negate the fact that I could be in the middle of headed somewhere with a point and see something out in the audience or hear a sound somewhere or just any old thing like, do I still have a cantaloupe in the crisper at home? Really? Not kidding you. And then all of a sudden where I was going just like disappeared. And I'd be like, and I had to learn. My point with this is it was then that I started incorporating. I'd move ahead in time. I knew that this was an issue. I to thine own self be true. I acknowledged that okay, that's a speed bump for me. So I'd go ahead. And so what I did was when I started scripting out my speeches, I would put a parachute phrase or word in case that happened, and I made it my title. I would always go back to my title. That way I didn't tell on myself. The audience didn't know. And it helped me get back. And it took a lot of the power away from the ADHD as far as controlling me and this and the other. And so I do that today. That's the purpose of the wall of purpose, putting the notes up there, because I noticed I had a lot of to-do lists that I never got to cross anything off, because I did 10% of this one. Then I jump over to the next one, do 30% of that one. Then I jump to the next one, do 5% of that, because I felt like I needed to touch on all of them within the day to be productive. But I didn't realize that I was jack of all trades, master of none. I wasn't getting anything fully accomplished. Is that something you see in your coaching practice with people?
Yes. One of the big things too, I would say my biggest thing is focus on
Girl.
Maybe the 3 things like we gotta get done, but taking what's you're just focusing on that, and don't the other things, if you have to touch little things later, but focus on one time. And get down. Depending upon the project, if you have a big project going on, that's going to take a long time, but you need to kind of put it down in chunks so you're not overwhelmed, because people always look at, I know I did this, like I got to do this, so I'm starting to do this, and then I'm like, this, I'm jumping over here, but I didn't finish the other thing. And then
it sounds like your internet's got ADHD, because that thing is all over the place. Sit your ass down, internet. Damn.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I didn't even expect this was a last minute thing.
That's okay. Hey, we roll with it. We roll with it. Let me ask you another question. Let's turn this around a little bit. What about the parent or guardian or anyone out there who, hi, honey, good morning, that let's talk about children. And the reason I'm bringing that up, because when you do research about ADHD, most of it speaks directly to children. Like, I Googled how many Americans are affected by ADHD, and what's the very first thing? It's a report by the CDC, and it's dated November 16th of 2020, so fairly recent. And it says millions of U.S. children have been diagnosed with ADHD. The estimated number of children ever diagnosed with ADHD, according to a national 2016 parent survey, is 6.1 million, or 9.4% children. This includes 388,000 children aged 2 to 5, 2 to 4 million children aged 6 to 11. So it seems like that's where most of the attention is on the younger children. So what are some of the warning signs you've found in your certification process, just your own due diligence for your own family and yourself? What are some of the primary warning signs, something that might say, if you see it in a child, this child could be dealing with ADHD? What are the top warning signs or red flags?
Well, type of activity, definitely. I mean, with my son.
But that could be Fruit Loops.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it could be. That's what I'm saying. Well, that's why. And yes, it can be. It doesn't necessarily, the symptoms can, it doesn't mean that it is. That's why if you see that, you have to get them evaluated and then take that. We had a neurologist, a pediatric neurologist, who was awesome. My doctor, actually, I suggested that I got him evaluated, and I tried at first, and the school was like, oh, we didn't see it. He was in first grade. It goes, well, leave it alone. And again, they wouldn't do it because of the age. And then when he was in second grade, I got a phone call from his teacher, and then we had a conversation, and she saw what I saw at home. Johnny is literally in the seat, sitting on it, like putting his legs through the chair, holding a pencil, right? And just banging it, like totally oblivious to what she's doing, nothing, all over. His hand,
we don't know what you just
did. Did you hear me?
We heard that part.
Okay. But it's like totally like all over the place. And I kind of said that's exactly right. I do see that at home too. He is all over the place. And
okay, So kids jumping all over the place, and I'm in the boxing ring. I'm in the boxing ring with your ADHD right now this morning. So okay, I'm gonna keep you on point. I'm gonna keep you on track. Okay, so number one is a kid that just can't settle down. What?
Number one would be the hyperactivity.
That would be the hyperactivity, which means if you sit little Johnny or Susie down and you say, here, color this picture for me, and you come back and they've just scribbled a bunch of stuff and now they're nowhere to be found. It's not even 3 minutes. That could be a sign. So are there tests that you can do to see how long? Do you say, I want you to sit here until you hear the bell ring, set a timer and see?
Yes, in the evaluation that they go through, like he went to school, I had to write a letter, they took him, they cover like all like the little things that they give them in the test that show you know, like basically how he's thinking and how his focusing and the attention is, all that, to see where he's at, and like when they get that, there's that, it breaks it down. They do an auditory test too. They did something on his hearing, because sometimes form of like reading for dyslexia, because so many different things are like comorbid with ADHD. I mean, you could also be ADHD, but you could have something else. You could have ADHD anxiety, or ADHD and dyslexia, or you just have learning disabilities.
Learning disabilities. Now, I'm thinking here. So, okay, so when your son was being diagnosed, do they ever do any kind of brain scan, brain waves, like to see? Have you come across anything in your research about that? Is there a way?
No, they're coming across, and I'm just learning some myself on that. They're coming with the what is it, neuro? It's a neurofeedback.
Oh, like a biofeedback kind of thing?
Yeah. It's supposed to be pretty good at them keeping their focus, and you know, helping. It kind of goes into the brain waves and how their brains are wired, because the brains are wired. I mean, and kids with ADHD are 30% delayed versus their peers without ADHD.
What do you mean delayed? Behind in
Meaning
school?
They're
doing other things later than other children.
Exactly. Like you can get two people, even like say that two 16-year-olds, right? Say for instance, one with ADHD, one without ADHD. Well, you got the one without, it's probably, you know, a typical 16, but you'll get the one that has ADHD. It's typically like, you gotta think, okay, they're like more like maybe a 14-year-old on that level. Whereas not, you know, they're pretty much like, that's why I always tell the parents, you have to think. A lot of parents, if they have, say, a 10-year-old, and they're like, you know, trying to help them get through their homework, and homework time is always a struggle. And I said, well, first thing you have to do is you have to think, okay, you want to support your child. Not how do I support my 10-year-old? How do I support my 8-year-old? You know, think about what, you know, don't think because they're 10 or 11 years old that they're 30% delayed.
Right. Now,
so
one thing I want to throw in here too about that age, because that right in there, I think it was between like 7, maybe 8 on, is when my mom, she realized that when I got into really great books that really challenged my imagination, that I could sit there and read all day, eat dinner, take a bath, go back in my room and read. She'd make me go to bed and come in 3 hours later and be under the covers with a flashlight, because I was so focused then, because all of that exercise that my mind needed, I found inside my imagination, inside of a great book, which leads to words and story, which is where I'm at today in my life, what I do. And so, and it's still that way, that, you know, and that's why I love story and creating great stories. So what do you think about that? When a kid just loves something like, and what about this? Because let's go there, because video games nowadays with kids. it could seems like it could help a kid with ADHD because they could sit there and play. But then is
Yes.
that good?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Talk
At
about
first, it used to not come up. It's funny, Lauren, just to say that when you talk about the books, that was me growing up. My mother's like, I can sit there with a book and just be totally reading, and I'm
See,
still like that. I read books. I on the month. I'm on the. Well, I set my goal to this year to read 3 books a month because I love to read, and I always been, and I'm
well,
totally focused.
how is your ADHD when you're inside of a great book? Do you feel
You
that you
know what?
deal with it less?
If it's a real good book, I'm just like, I can't put it down.
Same with me. And that's exactly
And
why
even
I'm
if
glad I found
it's
books.
even with self-developing books and learning, I can't put it down. I get so intrigued about reading and what they do. I'm like, with my highlighter, I'm highlighting pinpoints, and I'm just getting, I just get like that. But my son, he is, even to this day, he's 20. When he's on his game, he's a little bit more calmer now. Now that he doesn't get so overly crazy and when he's playing, but when he's so focused when he's on his video, as opposed to like when he was in college, which he was in college, he's about a year and a half, and now he's actually working. He's a hard worker, I gotta admit, and an entrepreneur at heart. I must say, he really wants to start his own business,
Good for
and
him.
yeah,
Girl.
it's amazing. Yeah,
We gotta
my
have a
cue
break from
again.
that. Yeah. Ooh, something's floating around. Y'all see that? Okay. See,
You-
that was my ADHD right there.
Oh.
I'm talking to you, and I saw something floating through this. See, there it was. And as soon as I saw, I was like, "Hey, everybody, look!" And you know what, though? I just want to say this. I believe that everything we walk with in our journeys that was packed in our pockets, in our backpacks of life, including things like ADHD or whatever it is they put on us about it. You can find something purposeful within it, because you know what I love about that? Just like they're going, oh, look, there's something floating in the air. You know what? It allows me to not have a filter. And now that I learned what that means, I don't just let any old thing come out of my mouth. I'll think it, but I'm not going to let it all come out. But what it does is it's so easy to be vulnerable. It's so easy to be transparent, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful. And I owe a lot of that ability to my condition with ADHD. I know this to be true. What do you say about something like that when you hear that?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I think that is, I think that is true. A lot of times, we're just, I don't
Is
know,
there anything positive? Is there anything positive about your experience with ADHD? Has
I'm
it
gonna
helped
say right
you?
now, I believe my biggest belief with ADHD is it should be considered, I consider it my superpower.
There
It's
we
not a
go.
deficit, it's not a disability, it's my superpower. When people with ADHD are very creative. They're very creative
Yes.
people. They're not. It's not an I. And people think it's not an IQ thing. It is not at all. It's just
Oh,
our
no.
brains are wired differently. Like the kids, like I always tell them, with the kids, your kids, they're not really different. They're just differently wired kids. And you might have a kid and then their friend. How they go about a problem, to like taking a test or something. How they go about doing the work is they go about it in one way. An ADHD kid will go another way, but they're going to go about it according to their brain.
Well, everybody on the screen you see right now, that's a great point, Andrea. Great point. Mama's Care Experts is the name of Andrea's company. And please get over to the website and check out. She specializes in working with parents of children with ADHD, or both sides of the aisle, the parent and the child, or children could have it, like the case with your own family. And so, if nothing else, if you just want to ask some questions, have a conversation in a safe space about something that you might want to learn a little bit more about, then head over today, tomorrow, whenever, to mamascareexperts.com and start a conversation with Andrea. So, Andrea, anything you want to say? We got 1 minute left. what would you like to leave people with in closing?
Okay, well, one thing I would like to say, first of all, is I am actually in the process come March 8th. Is going to be the launch day of a 21-day summit. And I am interviewing 21 different experts around, and the title of the summit is Raising Strong-Willed Kids.
Raising Strong-Willed Kids. Love it. Love that.
And yes, and the tagline.
And that starts March 8th?
March 8th is going to launch the first one. So
Okay.
We're going to be starting the promotion on the 22nd, and then I'll have everything, the registration page be going out to get everybody to register up. All you have to do is a free summit. And it's going to be 21. They're all on different topics. There's going to be.
And what's the tagline? You were going to say the tagline. What's the tagline?
The tagline is parenting with ease, confidence, and connection.
Parenting with ease, confidence, and connection. Love that. Raising strong-willed kids. You can find out more information about that and other resources regarding ADHD and a lot of other things. Just head over to mamascareexperts.com. And Andrea, thank you so much for sharing your soul today and coming in, even though you're at your daughter's and all these little obstacles. That's nothing. The promise is where two or more of us come together, something wonderful will happen. Not could, should, might, or possibly. It will happen. And it was proven here today. I want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart. We'll get you back, or we'll do a promo or something for your event that's coming up so that people can learn more about it. And also tomorrow here on Bathrobe Moments, join me when J.R. Reed will be here with us. And what a great story. Powerful, powerful story. So make sure you set your calendar. And if it's in God's will, I'll see you here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for our next installment of Bathrobe Moments. Andrea, one more time, good morning to you. Good day to you. Have a great, 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 great week. Thank you so much for blessing us with your story today.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Andrea, thank you so much. Mama's Care Experts is on the screen. You guys, I will see you tomorrow morning. Now get out there and be the blessing in the world that you would like to see coming in your direction. Be that gift that you'd like to receive. It's not hard. Just make it a covenant with you and what is greater every day, that no matter who I meet, no matter what situation I encounter, I promise to do my best to leave it, and the person or the situation leave either one of those things or both a little bit better than the way I found them. If we all do that, do you guys hear something? Oh, I know what that is. That is me playing somewhere else in this house. Okay, that is just too weird for words. You guys, I love you. I had to end on a senior moment. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Get out there and be what you want to be and do what you want to do. And let's meet together tomorrow. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Show me your soul.
Baby, I'll show you mine.
Show me your soul.
Honey, it's way past time.
How expensive do I have to be?
Need I spell it out before you get it, baby?
Show me your soul.
And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind.